Okay, so today we're gonna,
Mhm.
we're diving into Psalm 21,
Right.
which is,
Very good.
attributed to King David.
Mm-hmm.
And it's,
Yeah.
it's a song of praise,
Right.
but it's not just a simple thank you note
Interesting.
to God.
Okay.
It gets into
Yeah.
some pretty heavy themes of victory
Uh-huh.
and divine favor and judgment.
Yeah. These are things
These are ideas that we
that are very old
are
stuff.
really old school,
Yeah.
but they have a lot to do with
Uh-huh.
how we think about leadership even today.
You know, that's so true because I think the psalm doesn't shy away from realities of power,
Right.
human and divine.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a window into a world where
Yeah.
the line between those two realms
Yeah.
was much blurrier than it is for us
Yeah.
today.
And right away,
Yeah.
in the first couple verses,
Mhm.
we're like right in the middle of
Oh,
a
yeah.
victory celebration.
Yeah.
But
It's not just
it's more than that.
about human achievement, right?
It's like a
What was
live news feed
Yeah.
from a battlefield where God is like the ultimate general.
Yeah, exactly.
So-
So the psalm links the king's triumph
Yes.
to God's strength. So it's not just some lucky win.
Right.
This victory
It's orchestrated.
is orchestrated by divine
divine intervention.
intervention. I mean,
Yeah.
you can imagine this language would really resonated
Right.
with the ancient Israelites, right?
It's power.
Like to hear this psalm recited
Yeah.
after some big battle.
Imagine
This is like
Eh,
a way to reinforce the idea that
Hey.
their king was chosen by God.
their king was chosen by
Chosen
God.
and empowered by God.
Exactly.
Which makes me wonder,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
we don't have kings in the same way today, obviously,
Right.
but is there still that sort of
I think so.
yearning for that kind of?
I think there's a yearning for divine backing for our leaders,
That divine backing,
even if it's more
Oh, yeah.
symbolic now.
even if it's more symbolic.
Yeah.
That's such a fascinating question.
Yeah.
And this psalm really gets even deeper into
Uh-huh.
the idea of divine favor.
Yeah.
In verses 3 through 7,
Okay.
the king is just showered
Yeah.
with blessings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a golden crown
Right.
symbolizing his God-given authority.
Yeah, that golden crown is like,
It's not just
not just a hat, right?
a shiny hat.
It's like the link, a
right.
direct link between God's power
between
and the king's right to rule.
God and
Yeah.
the king.
It's a visual.
So how do you think that played out
Right.
back then?
Well, I mean, imagine
let's get
a
back.
society where people believe
Right.
their king was literally appointed by God.
Uh-huh.
That would have shaped everything
Yeah.
from their understanding of justice
Right.
to how they paid their taxes.
Right. Challenging the king was
We're
like
challenging.
challenging God himself. This
Yeah.
powerful stuff.
So we got this king,
Yeah.
like, basking in divine favor.
Right.
And then
But then it takes a turn.
it takes this turn
Right.
in verses 8 to 12.
Okay.
Things get
Oh,
a little less celebratory,
things get a little more intense.
a little less
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, it confronts the reality
Yeah.
of the king's enemies.
Okay.
And the language used to describe
Yeah.
God's actions against them is intense. I mean,
Yeah.
we see
Yeah.
burning furnaces,
Right.
utter destruction,
Right.
wiping out of
Yeah.
entire lineages.
It feels jarring.
It does.
After all this talk about you know,
Yeah.
blessings and
Yeah.
golden crowns,
Golden crowns and
it doesn't exactly feel like
right.
the merciful God
Uh-huh.
that we hear about a lot.
That's a good point.
Right.
It's important to acknowledge that this imagery can be challenging for modern readers.
Right.
But remember,
Mhm.
this psalm
Yeah.
is a product of its time.
Of its time.
Ancient warfare
Right.
was brutal,
Right.
and the concept of divine justice
Yeah.
often involved swift and severe
Right.
punishment.
So it's not really about condoning violence,
Right.
but it's about understanding
Understanding the historical
the
context.
historical context
And how
people might have viewed
might have viewed those actions.
those actions back then
Yeah.
differently.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that interpreting ancient
Wow.
texts requires us
Yeah.
to grapple with
Yeah.
perspectives that might be very different from
Right.
our own.
And then
And then-
you think the Psalms like gone completely dark,
yeah.
and it ends with this
Wow.
like
Beautiful.
beautiful call to praise
Yes.
in verse 13.
Verse 13.
It's like this reminder of God's ultimate power
Of God's ultimate power.
and authority.
Right. amidst all the conflict.
Amidst all the conflict and destruction.
Exactly.
It's interesting.
It is a powerful juxtaposition.
It really is.
The psalm doesn't shy away
No, it doesn't.
from the complexities of power or the harsh realities of the ancient world, but it ultimately returns to this message of recognizing God's might.
God's might.
Yeah.
So we've explored victory,
We've explored it all.
divine favor, and judgment.
Yeah.
What do you think?
That's quite a journey.
Yeah, it's
There
been
has been.
quite the journey.
Yeah.
But as we wrap up here,
Yeah.
what is the
What's the most
important takeaway
important takeaway from Psalm 21?
from Psalm 21?
What should we be pondering
Yeah, what should we be pondering as we
go about our day?
about our day?
Oh, that is such a great question. I think Psalm 21 really challenges us to think about the relationship between power and faith
Yeah.
and how those concepts
Okay.
have evolved over time. You know, if this psalm were written today,
Yeah.
who would it be about
Yeah.
what qualities
Right.
would we look for in a leader
Uh-huh.
worthy of such praise?
Right.
And how can we, as individuals, navigate these complex themes of power, justice, and belief in our own lives?
Lots to think about.
Lots to think about.
Thanks for guiding us through this deep dive
Absolutely.
into Psalm 21.
My pleasure.
Really gave us a lot
Here to be here.
John.
Yeah, take care.